News 10 NBC investigation into the state of solar in western New York. Genesee County leads the state in most acres devoted to solar farms. It's part of the state's effort to meet its clean energy mandates, but leaders there say they have had enough. Brett Davidson is here with how the state's efforts to transition to clean energy has them fighting back.
Yeah, Jen, it's really jaw-dropping to see the activity in Genesee County. Take, for example, the town of Byron. It's always been known as a quiet rural town with picturesque countryside and deep historical roots. But the landscape is changing quickly and dramatically.
Trucks, backhoes, and other heavy equipment are everywhere in Byron as developers lease the farm fields to plant a different type of crop, solar arrays. Hundreds of workers have descended on the region, driving steel beams into the ground to support the thousands of solar panels being installed for the Excelsior project. When completed, the project will cover 3,600 acres.
You can't see the countryside anymore.
Gayla Starowitz and her husband have lived in this house in Byron for 50 years. She says what has kept them here is the quiet isolation.
What has that piece been replaced with?
A lot of trucks and dirt and noise, and the view is pretty much gone.
A bird's eye view gives you a better idea how far the solar arrays stretch here. And Byron is not alone. A second solar farm is also underway in Genesee County in nearby Elba and Oakfield. This one is permitted for 4,650 acres. A third one is under review in the town of Alabama. That one is projected to be about 1,200 acres.
When you look out here, what do you see?
Sadness.
Matt Landers is the Genesee County manager.
I have a hard time bringing myself to drive through here to see what was, beautiful farmland and countryside is now being overtaken by these solar projects. And it's kind of an apocalyptic type view when you drive through here.
The appeal of Genesee County to investors is the flat, treeless terrain, willing landowners, and the proximity to these high-voltage power lines.
Landers says the towns were powerless to stop the projects. They're all being overseen by the Office of Renewable Energy Siting, or ORES, created by the state legislature to specifically speed up the review and permitting processes, essentially removing any local control.
They can set aside any local laws, local moratoriums, local zoning. They can set it aside and put a site where they want to put it. And that's what's happened here.
They built that right there.
The state says a lot of input is considered before a permit is granted. Jessica Waldorf is the ORES chief of staff.
On the whole, we look at all of the comments, all of the feedback, all of the impacts that may be associated with the generation resource. And it's our job, again, via statute and the laws that we're carrying out, to make sure that we strike the best balance that we can.
Waldorf says consolidating the process at the state level ensures protections are built in.
And we're in it to make sure that we protect, environmental resources, and that we also make sure that we're protecting, ultimately the ratepayers that are going to be both paying for and benefiting from the resources that come through our process.
Clean energy advocates say the large solar projects are critical for creating much-needed supply to the state's aging power grid.
We need to build as fast as we can, and the fastest electrons we can bring online right now are solar and wind.
But will it mean lower energy bills for all of us?
The honest truth is nothing right now is going to make our bills go down. The question is just how much can we prevent them from going up more steeply.
The solar projects do provide financial benefits to towns and counties through tax agreements, job creation, and a spike in local spending. But Landers says he'd gladly give all of that up. Genesee County is now spending money on public relations firms and outside legal counsel to try to slow the pace of future solar projects. Starowitz says she fears it may be too late.
We've put our life here. We've raised our family. We like it here. We liked our quietness. And I'm not sure how much longer we would want to stay, with this.
There is a bill in the state Senate and Assembly that would give local municipalities the final say on if a renewable energy power plant can be sited there. But Jen, those bills have not made it out of the Energy Committee.
Yeah, Brett, I'm thinking it has to be a tempting decision for farmers. How much do they make by leasing their lands?
Well, it really varies by the project and the area. But I've seen anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 an acre annually, which can be more than the yield from some crops. I spoke with a farmer who made that decision. You're going to hear from him tomorrow as we look at the impact of solar on agriculture in Genesee County.
All right, Brett, great investigation. Thank you for looking into this. The state says the Excelsior Solar Project is expected to generate more than $35 million in new revenue to Genesee County, the town of Byron, and the school district, primarily through a payment in lieu of taxes agreement.